Hey everybody, appreciate you joining me today. Now we are going to go over the screwdriver set that I have. Now this set is from Tekton, of course. We are going to compare them to my set of Klein screwdrivers. I have much fewer Klein screwdrivers because these I actually use for my job every day. I'm in the trades, and so I use those 6 screwdrivers almost daily. No, I'm not an electrician, but I do a lot of electrical stuff, and you can see they're a lot more worn than these, but that's basically because this Tekton set, it's a lot newer. I just wanted my own tools at home so that they're always in their place, and I always have them when I'm home just in case. I'm not like a typical homeowner. I do a lot of work myself, and being that I'm in the trades, I feel like I have a little bit of a understanding of what quality of tools you need to have around if you're going to do a lot of things yourself. So I'm going to be looking at these from a perspective today of, can you use them a lot around your house to do things, to build things, to fix things, rather than, are they like the Stanley set that you can use a couple times a year when you have to, but other than that, you're going to call somebody. We're going to look at these today as we use them every day. How do they hold up? How do they last? And how do I like them being somebody that uses tools a lot? So let's get right into it. Okay guys, let's get into a couple specs first on these Tekton screwdrivers. First of all, you have 4-inch shanks on the screwdrivers, on the shorter ones. Then as you get to the larger ones, you have an 8-inch shank on these. Now, pretty nice to have an 8-inch shank, I think. It just helps me for when I'm getting down in an engine bay and I need to pry on something or whatnot. I just really like the 8-inch versus the 6-inch shank. Because when you need a long flat blade or you need a long Phillips, why not just make it a little bit longer? The Klein here, they are 6-inch shanks on the larger, 4 on the smaller, or medium size, I guess you could say, as usual. So a little bit shorter. Again, you can get the longer ones. However, this is just what I keep in my truck for my job every day. Now, a couple things that I want to note about these Tektons. Number one, you do have a marking on the end there on the screwdriver that says what size it is and what kind of screwdriver it is. Now, for me, I use screwdrivers every day. I can just look at it and tell you the size of it, or go, oh, that's a number 3, that's a number 2, that's a 1. Pretty easy for me here. However, if you're storing them vertically, that marking is really nice because you may not be able to see the tips on the screwdriver, so you can use the top to identify which one you need. So that is very nice. Another thing that I really like is the fact that the end of the handle of the screwdriver is a triangle. At first when I bought them, I was a little bit like, oh, who designed that? Thinking like, that's terrible, because I've been used to these Klein screwdrivers that I've had for my job for years. And anyways, I got this in my hand, and using it, it's actually really nice. You can put a little bit more torque on it. It doesn't bother me at all. I can use it just as fast as I can my Klein, so it doesn't bother me at all. It is actually nice when you're gripping it like this, trying to actually put more torque on something, or like this, when you're really trying to torque something, that just gives you a little bit more leverage rather than a round handle like these Klein. So I do like that. A couple things though that I don't really love. I really wanted this black oxide initially, and now that I've got it, I might want to switch back eventually to the chrome, and that's only because this coating kind of comes off as you scrape stuff or hit it on things. Now, I know that that's just a coating, but to me, I want my screwdrivers to look nice that are in my set here at my house. I mean, that's, as you can see from the foam insert that it took me forever to cut out. I just care about what they look like in here. So, and then one other thing, this screwdriver here is starting to rust a little bit, and I'm not really sure why that one's rusting. I have hardly even used this one. It's a 4-inch shank number 3 Phillips, so pretty rare that I use this one here at my house. So it's starting to rust. That's a little bit odd, but You know, it's just, I try to keep everything in mind that this is, I view Tekton as a screwdriver or a company in general that is a quality company, but quality that's focused on price. So it's kind of middle ground. You don't get all the bells and whistles, but you don't get none of the bells and whistles. You don't pay the super high price, but you don't pay the cheapest price. So they're not the cheapest, they're not the most expensive. And that's generally what I look for here at my own personal house, unless it comes to like power tools, and I love Milwaukee or Makita. Also really like Makita, but mainly have Milwaukee batteries, so I stick with that. But anyway, these screwdrivers, I really feel like for the money are really great. This is a 16 screwdriver set from Tekton. You can get this exact set right now, at least on their website, for $75. Now, this is 16 screwdrivers for 75 bucks. These 6 screwdrivers, if you look on Home Depot's website, the same exact set here, however, it has the 2 stubbies and flat blade and Phillips. So 8-piece set. So half the screwdrivers is $70. So almost the same price, but for half the screwdrivers. So the question you have to ask yourself is Klein worth double what Tekton is? So is Tekton half as good as Klein? In my opinion, I use both a lot, and they're not. Tekton is barely behind Klein, is what I would say. I mean, barely. I mean, there's a couple things I like more about the Tekton. One being the handle, the fact that it's rectangular or triangular. But everything else about the Kleins I really like. But they're just, to me, they're not worth almost double the price. So if I'm going to pay my own money at my own house for them, I'm probably going to buy Tekton again. Even in my truck that I carry these, I mean, there's not a huge reason to have Klein versus Tekton. The only thing that I like more about the Klein is 2 things. Number one, the shanks seem to be a little bit more stout, and the fact that the grips are more grippy, they're more rubbery. Again, you can put less torque on them per se because they're just round and these are triangular. However, for what I do, I don't have to put a whole lot of torque usually on different things that I use my screwdrivers for. So not super applicable for me. But anyways, getting back to the Tekton, I do want to show you guys a couple other things. Some people really like some screwdrivers to have the hex head right here. Like I know Snap-on has a set that's like that, and so you can slide your wrench on and get a lot of torque on a screw. But at least in my opinion, I just think that that's kind of unnecessary. Usually if you need to do a lot of torque on something, you can either grab a screw gun, or if you're afraid of stripping it out, you normally would have a set of like 3/8 drive sockets that then have like a little shaft. I'm sure you guys have seen them that then have the flat blade and Phillips or Torx bits at the end, and that's for if you really need to torque one of these bits down. I just wouldn't use a screwdriver and a wrench to do that. I guess you could if you were in a pinch. It'd be nice. It's a nice feature. Same thing with like the slide at the end. A lot of screwdrivers have the opening, and guys are like, "Oh man, I love the opening because I can stick this screwdriver through here," and they're really, And I'm just thinking like, it's not a bolt on an engine. I mean, how many times do you need to put a ton of torque on a number 2 Phillips screw? At least in my opinion, it's just not super often, or at least for what I do, it's not super often. I mean, you guys can let me know if you're like, man, I do it all the time. Let me know. I'd love to be educated on it. I just don't think it's super necessary, at least for what I do. So that really doesn't bother me. But anyways, I do want to show you guys though with a screw and a 2x4 the head design on these Phillips screwdrivers, because I just want to show you guys what I think about them. So let's get that set up. All right, so I've got this 2x4 set up here. I've got 2 screws just started in there, both brand new screws. This is also a brand new screw. Now, keep in mind, these are both used screwdrivers, and this one, I know what you're going to say, that looks really beat up. It's just dirty because I work in dirt every day. It's not super well used. This one is slightly less used, so keep that in mind with this data we're about to collect. However, this test is not necessarily super scientific. However, I just want to show you guys exactly what I think about these two. Now, if you go to screw this screw in here, it's pretty easy to do. I'm grabbing the corners of the screwdriver because the handle is triangular and it's extremely easy. You saw me slip once, oh, there I go again. Now, normally I would be grabbing it and doing something like this, holding the screwdriver down with one hand and then actually driving the screw with my other hand. Now, again, that's quite easy. Now, the screwdriver itself just barely wiggles just a little bit, and I'll bring you guys in here closer in just a second, but it barely wiggles inside there. Now keep in mind, this is like brand new. It just barely wiggles. The Klein, put it in the same, you saw that slip there first try. However, normally my Klein doesn't slip too badly. I will say it's just, the head always just seems a little bit loose on the number 2 Phillips. I don't know why that is. It could be because it bottoms out just ever so slightly. But as far as the Fitment goes, it's also just barely has a little tiny bit of play inside the head. Now, let me bring you guys closer and show you this next part here. Okay, so for this part, I just wanted to show you guys that holding the screw in the tip here, you can see that the screw will stay in there, and I am holding this screwdriver now like almost perfectly level. It is still staying in there just fine. If I move it up and down, it's even still staying in there. And this is not a magnetic, I have not magnetized the tip of this. So holds it in there pretty nicely on the Klein. Again, I do like my Klein, I will say. It is a very nice screwdriver. Here's the Tekton. Now let me hold it level here and go up and down. Same thing. It is still staying on the screwdriver, so very nice. However, you'll notice on this one, the screw is actually slightly tilted, which means it's not sitting all the way up in the screwdriver or down in the screw itself. So if you push on there better like that, it still does that. That is showing the fitment of the head. So again, not super scientific, but you can see here, maybe now that you guys are closer, the little bit of play that I was talking to you guys about. And then now for the Klein, the little bit of play that it has, however, it's extremely small. I think that the Klein fits just a little bit better than the Tekton. So not a super big deal. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it is something to consider. I would say the tip on a Klein is a little bit better than the tip on the Tekton. So not poor on the Tekton. I've had way worse screwdrivers before. I just want you guys to keep that in mind that, you know, for that $70 on a Klein, you're paying the $70 for something. And again, is it worth double the money? Not in my opinion. However, it is definitely nicer than the Tekton. Would I buy a Tekton screwdriver set again? The answer is maybe. What am I using it for? For my garage, for me, for my household, to use them often, but not for my career. I would definitely buy them again. Would I put them in my pickup truck to use every day for my job? I would. However, I just like Klein a little bit better. I know that they're almost double the money, but at least for my job, I think that they're worth it, at least to me. However, being a homeowner and knowing that I'm not on the clock doing anything around my house here, it's not worth it to buy a Klein for me. So I will continue to buy Tekton for my own personal use while I'm not on the clock trying to make money. I think that they're a great value screwdriver set. I would recommend them to anybody I know, as long as they're, again, not trying to go out and make money with them. And not saying anything bad about Tekton, like, oh, you're going to lose money if you have them. It's just my personal preference. I'm willing to pay a little bit more money for the Kleins just because they're in my hands so much while I'm at work. Now, these are a very nice screwdriver set, and I very much like them for my own personal use here. And I love having nearly every type of screwdriver in my drawer. I think it's just super convenient. And for what I use it for, I think they're perfect. And for $75 for 16 screwdrivers, I don't know how you can beat it. I know you can beat the price, but I don't know how you can beat the value, the ergonomics of this handle. I was initially nervous about this handle. You know, I think it's really good. So anyways, that's a wrap, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or concerns or just thoughts on, or just my general thoughts on a specific question, feel free to drop a comment below. I appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button. It really helps me out, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Would really appreciate it. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time.